Hi. Oh, sorry. Oh, sticky. Anyway, how's everybody's weekend going so far? It's almost over. And do you know why it's almost over? Because it's too doggone short. You know, I think the weekend should be 5 days and the work day should be 2 days. How about that? Okay? I know the cost of things, but that could be arranged differently. See, it's all about who controls the matrix. Things can be changed. And that's where I'm going with this whole title. A choice has to be made. Things can be changed. You don't have to have only 24 hours in a day. You can have 36. You can have 40. Or you can just not have to deal with time at all. You don't really have to age. You can be timeless. But the problem is we have been programmed so badly and we don't understand that we're programmed because we really think, well, let me stop saying we because I already know. But the problem is when you know things, well, as far as me, when I know things, the things that I know, I can't really cognize it. Meaning it can't be. It's not really rooted. Okay, it's not rooted because regardless of how fake I know things are, I'm still participating in it as if it's something that's actually real, and I'm taking it seriously as if it's something that's real because of responsibilities. And this is why I'm against responsibilities because unless it's something that's my soul's purpose, this is where I am. Anything, any minute that I do something, and I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I perfected it. I'm just saying how I'm feeling right now. Anything, any minute that I take to do something that is outside of my soul's purpose is a waste of time, and it means absolutely nothing. It means absolutely nothing, which means working a job, and I'm talking about for myself. I'm not talking about somebody else, because you know what? Everybody else. See, the thing is, when people talk about their lives, they're literally talking about what their soul's journey. So another person really cannot have an opinion on your life and where your soul is taking you. Another person can't really have an opinion on your life because everybody's journey is going to be different. Now, where my journey is right now, it's a waste of life. I've already been in my career for 20 years. I've already put in the work of working. I've already put in that work. Okay, I'm not a spring chick. I put in that work, and I still am putting in that work. But it's nothing wrong with physically moving around and working. That's not the problem. It's nothing wrong with moving. It's good to move, right? When people dance, they're moving. But you want to be busy doing what you are here to do, what your soul's purpose is, instead of just surviving, just living here to pay the bills. I said this before, but I wanted to make sure that I have some kind of empathy that all of this stuff going on could really be a gift, but it's hard to see it like that because when you can't pay your bills, you're stressed out. And it's not a gift if you're going to be laying on a doggone park bench. That's not really a gift. But sometimes being let go of your job, you know what? Somebody was talking about Uber, and I could be driving Uber, and I said, you know what? It had so much peace. When I was driving for DoorDash and driving for Lyft, that was the most peace. I had so much peace. Now, what I'm doing now, I still do have peace because I don't really deal with folks. I still don't deal with people like that. Because I decided I cannot work in a building with other people 40 hours a week. I can't. And when I do go work in these buildings on the weekdays, I go late in the afternoon when most of the people are off of work. I cannot deal with every single time I'm working in these buildings. I come across people are crazy. People are crazy and they try you. And the thing is, I'm not I'm friendly, but I'm not. I've always been seen as a target to a lot of these people. And see, I don't have time for that. I don't want to have to deal with that. I get that it's a reason for it, and and all of that stuff. But if I can just get around having to work in these buildings with these people every day, I just find a way to get around it, because you're going to end up needing to constantly have therapy over and over and over and over again. But let me get to it. I'm at the point where it's time for me to switch. It's time for me to switch. Now, working at that's the job I was working, I was in purpose for that time. But now I already know it's time for me to change over. I already know it's time for me to change over, and there's just no room for fear. Fear really needs to get out the way. Fear has to get out the way. It's time to replace fear with faith. It's time to replace fear with faith. And with a lot of these people that lost their, that might have been laid off or whatever, it's really scary when you still have to pay the bills. See, the only disappointing thing is you still have bills to pay. A lot of these people don't care. A lot of these people did not love their jobs. That's the problem. They did not love their jobs. A lot of them probably hated their jobs. But there's bills to pay. And why do we stay in positions, certain jobs, that we absolutely hate being in, but we know it pays the bills? It's out of fear. Why would you do something that your soul does not align with? It's all fear. And I'm not judging, because we've all been there. It's all fear. It's all fear. Working a job that you absolutely hate because you know the bills have to be paid, and then you work there for 25, 30, 40 years just so you can retire and get your retirement, and every single day you wake up, you just do not like going to that job. It's almost like you're dead every single day, like you're just dead, you're dead, and you're just trying to get your retirement. It's literally a whole waste of life. And then by the time they get old, a lot of things they already knew they should have been doing, they felt like it should have been done in their younger years. And so when they retire, they don't even try to get into it. They don't even, a lot of times parents are jealous of their children, and people are just envious of another person because they are not in purpose. They are not in purpose. Okay? There is something they should be trying to figure out. Why are they here and what should they be doing? They should be focusing on themselves and what they should be doing with their lives. But a lot of people, though, they already know what they want to do, but they feel like in this life they can't do it because they gotta go with a job that's more realistic so they can pay the bills. And so they spend their whole life in this realm, not doing what they know will make them happy because of bills. But the problem is there's a serious lack of faith. And that's what I'm talking about with this whole thing. So I said, I titled this called "The People Need to Make a Choice." A choice has to be made. Because especially in the United States of America, a lot of people call themselves Christians. Now, I don't care if a person is Christian or not. I'm not into telling people what they should believe in. But what I notice about a lot of Americans in the United States of America specifically, they really talk about how God is their source. If you are a person who's not a Christian, you would be torn down. They would act like they're better than you. I'm talking about some Christians, like people who are like more on the religious side. Okay. You have a lot of I used to call them spiritual terrorists. Because the real religious type of Christian is that want to, put you in a corner or put you up against a wall about your belief system and telling you that you need to give your life to Christ. And like, don't tell nobody else what they need to do. You can just give a seed if they ask for it or whatever. However you do it, you can sneak it in there where they don't know that you just did it. But don't tell nobody else what they need to do. Like, let that go. Because that kind of person to me is a spiritual terrorist. Don't tell nobody else what they need to do. Like, you mind your business. And so I'm saying that I'm noticing there's a huge outrage over this government shutdown. I've been talking about it because I was outraged over the doggone TSA workers not getting paid. Now, I was outraged over that at first. Honestly, kind of more than the SNAP. But the SNAP is very important too. I don't want to dismiss that. But I just felt like the doggone TSA workers and the government workers weren't getting... I felt like SNAP overshadowed the actual TSA workers. I feel like SNAP just actually overshadowed them. And so many people talking about SNAP, but they don't understand how these other TSA workers are just like stressed out because they probably can't pay their bills and they have to work a second job because they have to, it's mandatory that they show up on their job, right? Unless they just outright quit. But it's mandatory that they show up on their job. Now, why are they staying on the job stressed out and not getting paid? Oh, because what happened is, and then they might not even get back pay. So now why are you there? You might not even get back pay. Why are you there? And this is not a criticism, but I'm going to tell the truth, regardless of how flawed I am, because this is the problem. I noticed that I have flaws too, and it keeps me from telling the truth about other things because I know I have flaws. But regardless of my flaws, I'm going to tell the truth. They're operating in fear. Why would you, and I don't mean this out of judgment, I'm saying this to say what it is, not judging the actual person. I'm saying what it is. Why would you? These people are not paying you. They told you it's mandatory that you show up to work. Why is it mandatory that you show up to work, but it's not mandatory that you get your paycheck? And it's not mandatory that the bills stop coming in. It's not mandatory that you get anything for free. Are you getting food for free? You still got to pay for gas? Do you still have to pay a car note? Do you still have to pay rent or mortgage or however you pay your living? Whether you rent in a room, Airbnb, however you do it, do you have to pay that? And it's not easy to get into a homeless shelter, and a homeless shelter might not hold all these people. And everybody don't want to go to no homeless shelter. Okay? And it's about to be illegal to be homeless on the streets. It's about to be illegal to be on the streets. But that's dangerous anyway. But sometimes when you have no choice, where you going to lay your body when you don't have nowhere else to lay it? And so my thing is, I would say, if you're not getting paid anyway, go on and quit. Like, quit. It's been almost 40 days, if not 40 days, because I'm not really keeping count, but I think it's about 40 days, 39 or 40 days of the government shutdown. And I think this is going on to the second week that they have not got their paycheck. Now, when December comes, I think that it's going to hit them differently. And by January, they're going to lose their mind. And it's just time to quit. And like I said before, I just hear people complaining about how long the airport lines are and how long they have to wait and how sometimes they might miss their flight. And I'm like, these people are not getting paid and they're stressed out. Be glad that you made it wherever you're going. Be glad that you made it in one piece. Because I saw a video of this air traffic controller that have to work another job doing DoorDash because he's not getting paid on his job because of the government shutdown. And he's an air traffic controller. Now, he has to work another job to pay his bills. And he has to go to work stressed out. And he has a very important job that he has to be stressed out and sleepy. And people complain about long lines. Be glad that you're still alive. Be glad that you are alive. Okay, with the type of stuff that's going on right now. Be glad that you're still alive. And you made it wherever you were going in one piece. Because during this time, it's just best to be doggone thankful with everything that's going on. You're stressing out about how long wait hours, like you don't know it's a doggone government shutdown. Like, come on, like, seriously, don't even bother to fly nowhere and complain like that. Once again, that is first, I'm just going to be honest with you. That is first world problems. Now, if you really have to get somewhere, that's unfortunate. Because It's not when you really need to get somewhere. That's just kind of unfortunate. I think you might just be better off taking maybe a train or something. I don't. If you're able to take a train, it might be better to take the doggone Amtrak or something. Because if you miss a flight, it's gonna take you about 3 days to get to where you're going anyway. So just go and take the train. I don't know, but if you're able to take a train, hell, you might be better off going on a cruise. Let me stop. Or hell, get a rental car and drive. Get a rental car and drive if you are able to drive where you need to go. Like some people just need to go from Atlanta to DC. Like rent a freaking car and drive. If you're going to be in doggone a line for 10 hours, drive. Okay? If you need to go from Atlanta to New York and you know that the airports are crazy and you gotta be there, drive. Get a rental car and drive if you can. If you have your license and you're able to get a rental car, it might be best at this point. But complaining about how long the wait is, how long the line is, like ain't shit going on, like that's crazy. That's some privilege. That's privileged problems. Like you just complaining like ain't nothing going on. you know. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, I'm just having a conversation. But yeah, like a choice has to be made. These people ain't paying you. You don't know if you're going to get back pay. And so, even if you want to get your vacation time off, you probably might not get paid that. Okay. Hi. Waving at a little girl. But you might not even get that. So like, why are you there? Because when they open back up, you just might get your back pay because you've been there too long. All of this is operating out of fear, because why would your soul or God or whatever you want to say, however you say it, why would God or whatever it is, why would God be okay with you consistently working your butt off and being stressed and not get paid and then end up possibly being evicted? Is that what God wants for you? Because if you know that's not what God wants, then why are you there? And the answer is always going to be fear. Most people who tell you not to fear are operating in fear. Most people, if not all people, operate in some kind of fear. And you know why? Because if you are not full of faith, there is some kind of fear that you might have some faith in some things, but there's more fear than there is faith. And that's a lot of people. That's a lot of us. And at this point, it's time to choose faith over fear. It's time to choose God, however you see God, because some people think I'm talking about a religious God. I'm not talking about a religious God. It could be time to have 100 work on it. It takes practice, though. It's a process, and I know that, but you got to start from somewhere, because the way things are going right now, you can't depend on man either. You certainly cannot depend on the government. And it doesn't look like they're going to be ending this shutdown anytime soon. I believe they are purposely trying to stress people out. I believe they want people to take their own lives. I feel like a lot of this is done on purpose. Okay, you have the Republicans who want to blame the Democrats, and you have the Democrats who want to blame the Republicans. Regardless of what it is, you see a lot of people suffering, and you don't care about, you just fussing and pointing fingers at each other like you're little kids and not caring how other people are suffering. And so I feel like it's just done on purpose. And these group of people, whether Republican or Democrat, should not be running anything, because at this point in time, I'm seeing more respect for the AI. I'm seeing more respect and more homage given to the AI. I'm seeing more worship given to the AI than any kind of consideration for humanity at all. There's no consideration for humankind. There's no consideration at all. Okay? And so you have to like decide You know you working, but you know these people don't care nothing about you. And sometimes you are where you are. It might not be time for you to leave. That's why people got to be careful. Sometimes I just talk about where it's meant for me to go. And when it's time for me to go, I got to get up and go, or else something's going to happen that's going to push me out. If I don't get up and go when it's time, something is going to happen that's going to push me out. Okay. So when it's time for me to get up and go, I just need to get up and go. So nothing bad happens where a bridge is burnt. Because what's going to happen is something bad is going to happen where a doggone bridge is burnt because I didn't move when I was supposed to move. So this is me saying move when I'm supposed to move. And them doggone people like TSA, it's time for them to move. I mean, it ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's time for them to move. I don't know why God would want them to suffer like that. Why would God want you to work a second job doing DoorDash and you tired all every day going to work? Why God wants you stressed out? Well, I mean, obviously people have a lesson to be, but what is it that you're supposed to be doing? A lot of these people where a lot of stuff stopped for them, maybe things came to a stop because there is something else for them to concentrate on, and they haven't been doing it because they've been making their paychecks. Just because somebody's a doctor doesn't mean that their sole purpose is to be a doctor. So just because they have jobs where it pays well, doesn't mean that's their purpose. And for some people, it could be time for them to choose faith over fear. Okay? But anyway, it's time for me to go. And I will talk to you guys later. Okay.